5 reasons why you should not buy the PRS Silver Sky. This is IkeGuitar. Let's do this. Guys, what is going on? IkeGuitar here. Today we're talking about a guitar that's been on the market for quite some time, but recently got a resurgence because of a certain artist's album release. This is the PRS Silver Sky. Now this PRS is going to be a 2020 PRS Silver Sky. What I am going to say about this guitar right away is that this guitar is pretty iconic in the guitar world right now because it's the John Mayer signature guitar. They're never going to go out of style, mainly because people want to buy these guitars left and right. It is going to be a Strat style guitar as you see, and as far as prices on the market, I wouldn't recommend anyone buying one for more than $1,700. That being said, I did buy mine for $1,500. One guy wanted to get rid of his, and I'm like, I'll take that for $1,500. An easy buy for me. Actually, quite a steal as far as PRSs are concerned. But why don't we get into why you should not buy a PRS Silver Sky? So the first reason why I would go against buying a PRS Silver Sky is because of the neck shape. This neck shape is 7¼ inch radius. You may not like this neck, okay? Some of us may like the neck, but I think a lot of us are used to more traditional Strat style thin line necks, maybe more 60s necks on a Les Paul. This neck is nice and thick. It's a thick boy, it's chunky. It really lends itself to bigger hands. So if you really like a thicker neck on your guitar, it may be the one for you, but for me, it's a no-go. Alright, the second reason why I wouldn't buy this guitar is mainly the pickups. Now, I think John Mayer did a good job voicing these pickups for his style of music, but these pickups are insanely warm. Now, I will say more traditional Strat style single coils are going to be a little bit hotter, a little bit more, you know, in that mid-range. These pickups definitely have a fuller sound, even in this bridge position, okay? If you like warmer single coils, that's fine too, but I think that there are a lot of good Strats on the market today that have that good mix of fullness and those screaming highs you want to hear on a Strat. These pickups aren't for me. So number 3, this one's a bit more substantial. The finer stuff is a little bit lacking. Let me show you some examples. So first off, if you look at the guitar, just based on tuners alone, it's got some cool locking tuners, very stable tuners for sure. But if you notice on these tuning peg heads, they're plastic, okay? And they're not even like a nice kind of plastic. They're like a 3D printed, like beveled plastic that really doesn't feel great on your hands. Now, I'm into more traditional Fender style tuning pegs, but I don't find these plastic tuners to be super nice. I'll just be very honest. And then we're going into the actual electronics. If you actually look at the guitar right here, you'll notice that these electronics are very also cheap. Very cheap style plastic on the electronics. It's they're not traditional caps like you'd find on a Fender style guitar, and in fact, a lot of the plastic pieces, including this little, it's hard to tell, but it's the actual tip for the selection switch. You can see where it was injection molded, and they didn't even bother to smooth it out. They're still just like plastic on the side. Kind of a shoddy job, especially when you're buying an instrument this expensive. That also being said, the inlays, they're not the finest inlays that you're gonna find on a PRS model guitar, okay? And for a $2,500 guitar, I expected a little bit of a better inlay, maybe some rosette. Now that's a personal opinion, but as far as like actual quality of the inlay, the birds are cool, but the birds look like they're low resolution. So for those reasons, I think this guitar just has a bit of a lack inside. Now that, don't get me wrong, I think the finish looks really great. I think the body contours are really cool, and I think that the locking tremolo is pretty cool. But I will say, just based off the mere plastics in this guitar, it all kind of feels really cheap and kind of low budget, and for that, I'm not really a fan. All right, that goes into the price of the guitar. I would argue that $2,400 is a bit pricey for this instrument. Now that being said, you can get a lot of nice guitars for $2,400, and that also kind of explains why you can find these guitars for about $1,700 on the used market pretty regularly. I will say, this guitar For being $2,400 does not come with a hard shell case or some of the cool things that maybe modern Gibson Les Paul standards do. I will say though, there are plenty of good guitars on the market for $2,400. This guitar is decent for the price, but definitely not worth $2,400 in my opinion. So if you're gonna buy one used, buy one cheap. It's not worth paying full price for this. Now that being said, if you like PRS, if you're a PRS snob and you like the smell and feel and taste of a PRS instrument, this guitar is the closest you're gonna get to a Strat style PRS without, completely blowing your budget. It does feel good. It is a good instrument, but with the amount of incredible Strats on the market, the American Professional 2s, the American Elites, the American Luxes, these guitars are really just shadows of what could be in your hands right now. I would recommend going and finding a vintage Fender, a mid-70s Strat, or maybe a brand new Fender. If you're gonna go for a traditional Strat sounding guitar, I would just go with Fender. It's just the easiest way to get a great sounding Fender without spending $2,400 plus sales tax on a guitar like this. That being said, it's a personal opinion, of course. If you like this PRS, I want to know down in the comments below. Guys, I hope you like this review video of the PRS Silver Sky. It's a fine guitar. It's cool. I'm just not a big fan of it. But if you like it, I want to know about it in the comments. Send your hate below. I want to hear your opinion on this guitar. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know why yourself. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I make videos all the time. You're not going to want to miss a single episode of IkeGuitar here. And we've got a really cool guitar, but I'm going to have to let it go. It's been a fun ride, PRS, but I think the PRS Silver Sky is a bit overblown for the price. Albeit, if I find one in Roxy Pink, I may have to get that because that finish is amazing. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you next time on IkeGuitar.